absolute pleasure of speaking with Martina Garcia. She is one of the stars of the upcoming vertical entertainment horror thriller film, Phobias. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the character, about the film first?
Yes, totally. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but I can say Phobias is a horror thriller about five patients with extreme phobias that are locked in a government facility. And, they're going through the ultimate test to control their minds and weaponize their fears.
Absolutely. And can you tell us a little bit about your role as Alma?
Yeah. So I play Alma in the segment that's called hoblophobia, which is phobia for weapons and firearms. And so Alma is an ex SWAT team vet that had like a sort of an accident in a raid. It turned bad, so I can't tell what it is, but you'll have to watch the film. But that creates this phobia within her that gets triggered pretty often, and that's hard for her to manage.
In the film, besides that, we explore the fears of driving, robots, teenagers, and just the fear of being imperfect. And then the one we talked about for you with his firearms. Was this a choice that you got to make, or is it just the character you were cast as?
Yeah, it was a character I got, yeah, offered from Camilla Bell, who wrote this segment and directed the segment. And yeah, I don't know what was her inspo for this role, but I just, I was already Alma existed already when I got cast. Yeah, and it wasn't very far from myself in the sense that I'm not familiar with um, guns and weapons. So it's not that I have a phobia, but I can understand that somebody has it. It's really not an object that you would usually be comfortable with, or you wouldn't put, like be in a situation where you have to use it or have someone use it against.
Absolutely. Usually, when we see a gun, it has lethal consequences. It implies life or death situations. So the fear of guns, of firearms, is seems almost a very natural occurrence. So, but your fear of guns,
Yeah,
as we see, without giving too much away, takes it to an extreme level. It triggers a flight or fight reaction from you. And can you
yeah.
talk about preparing for that role? How did you get into that mode where uh, a firearm, in your case, triggers that instant response where where you black out?
Yeah, I talked with a therapist about it to get familiar with what trauma is in fight or flight mode, as you just mentioned, in um, PTSD and all of that. And I read a lot about it. And I know a lot of people just kind of get stuck in the event that caused the trauma and just can't stop um, reliving it
Mhm.
every time there's like a trigger, which is the Alma's case. Um, so it came very naturally. I kind of understood how the mind works with that kind of situation. And I was very empathetic and sensitive about it. I think we all have our own traumatic experiences. And it was just a matter of understanding that she went through some really hard thing. It's definitely something nobody wants to go through. So yeah, there were some consequences to that. And she's just human. She doesn't ask for mental help. that we're trying to normalize these days. It's not that something's wrong in her mind or that she's crazy or anything. It's just that that's a response to a very unfortunate event she had to go through.
Yeah, it's usually something happens, and you don't want to relive come anywhere close to reliving that experience,
Exactly.
which is why that fear
Yeah, and you
develops.
kind of forget it even, you kind of want to erase it from your mind, but then even a sound or uh, anything, can trigger it, and you just like have to live it again. So it's very interesting the journey she has from the moment that she starts having this trauma to the end of the film, where she kind of like kind of becomes stronger than her fear.
Right. What do you think of the idea of the premise of the film of weaponizing fear?
It's I think it's been done throughout history a little bit. Unfortunately, it's one of the easiest ways to control people. We're kind of going through that right now. You know, we're so scared of losing our lives and to get the virus, and it's like um, it's very easy to control people when they're scared of things. So yeah, I think it's like pretty obvious, and the interesting thing is that as soon as they're the patients of the film, they're aware, they realize that they're being controlled by the government. They kind of, there's like a breakthrough for them. They realize that either they take their lives and their courage back, or they're dead. So yeah, fear is a two-sided weapon. You can use it either um, in a good way to motivate yourself to do things, or you can just let it control you. And if other people are using it, are using your fear against you, it's like you're totally lost. You're in their hands.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Which was my next point I was going to make. That the timing of the release of this film, with all the things we've been through, and it almost seems like throughout the last year, because of the fact that we had to stay in, we had to stay put, a lot of fears were kind of drilled into our heads thanks to television, social media, and just the internet in general, and just people, the divisive politics. And I think it turned people very much against each other. But it was just a natural fear of either losing your job, status, health, family, and it could come in such different forms, which is something I appreciated in this film. You guys didn't necessarily go straight for the obvious fears. You guys really expanded that horizon, and it could be something as easy as not feeling good enough, and how extreme that can go. Can you comment a little bit on that?
Exactly. How time, yeah, it's cutting a little bit, so I lose some of your words, but yeah, it's very timely to speak about fears and mental health. Um, like kind of as I was saying, like normalize it, and like right now, I don't think there's anybody who can say they went through this pandemic without fearing for their lives, right? And
Mhm.
fearing for the future, and for, as you said, like losing their jobs and relationships and statuses and anything. At a year ago at this point, we didn't even know if the world was kind of ending. We were not
Yeah.
used to having It's like the first time we went through a pandemic, right? Now we kind of we have to we have learned a little bit to navigate through it, and with masks and things, and we kind of we're getting used to it a little bit. Um, but yeah, it's I think it makes us. It's definitely the common factor of that makes us humans, right? That we all have fears. There's nobody who can say, "I fear anything. I'm indestructible," and it's like we're all so vulnerable, and we go through things, and yeah, it's I actually you were saying it some in some um, kind of put each other everyone against each other in a way, but I think now it's it's kind of I don't know if that word exists in English, but humanizing. It's like kind of humanizing us
Mhm.
in a way. It's making us get more in touch with our humanity, with the reality that we're all gonna die one day, and yeah, so it's there are all sorts of reactions to extreme situations, right? We cannot predict them or control them, but what we can do and what we should do is definitely get stronger with our experiences and with our fears, and not uh, just give give up, and be overtaken by them.
Just a quick personal question. I know for me, I have an unnatural fear. I have for years. I've always been afraid since a little kid, afraid of the dentist. and and so every time I go in the chair, I have to let them know, hey, we're gonna get through this, but I'll let you know if I start freaking out, I need you to back off a little bit. But I have a bigger fear, obviously, of not having teeth. So, do you have any fears, any phobias that you don't mind sharing, and how you overcome them?
Yeah, definitely. I've got some, and I don't specifically like going to the dentist either. I don't have your phobia, but it's not something that I enjoy a lot. Definitely, although I have a nice doctor, but I would say I'm a little bit claustrophobic actually.
Okay.
I I don't like being in an elevator. Um, yeah, I don't like elevators, and I don't like planes. I'm one of those people who want to get off the plane as soon as we land, and yeah, I try to not think about it when I'm traveling, when I'm flying, but I don't like, yeah, I'm kind of claustrophobic a little bit, and I would say another phobia, maybe it's more like intellectual phobia, but stereotypes. I kind of,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I I don't like them. Like especially Latinx stereotypes, for instance. I'm like, no, like no, I'm allergic to it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
And
no, the stereotypes
yeah,
can
I could go
often.
on.
Sorry? No, yeah, stereotypes can absolutely
Yeah,
ruin.
I could go on with movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah, it's yeah. We're all so much more than just the skin color where we grew up because we all have the same abilities. It's just they just blossom differently. That's the way I see it.
exactly.
Martina, thank you so much for spending some time with me
Totally. That's
today.
why Alma actually is was a very interesting role for me, because it was not at all a Latinx stereotype.
Right.
She's a strong woman, and um, yeah, she's the next SWAT, and yeah, it was far from what we know. But yeah, stereotypes are like shocking sometimes. Like, yeah, how they just don't make sense, I would say.
Definitely. I'm sorry for interrupting you. We having it looks like we're having a little bit of a lag with each other today. So I appreciate your patience with that.
Yeah, Sorry about that.
So I just want to say thank you for joining me
No,
today.
thank you.
I appreciate it. Congratulations on the film. I enjoyed it very much. And it comes out March 19th, theaters, on digital, and on demand. I hope you have a good one, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, I hope you guys like it. Thanks for having me today.
Thanks.